Hi guys, White Witch 110 here. That is where I hot glued the fan. So when I turn it on, it's directly at me. And here is the birdhouse, complete. There's the bird on top. Pretty. And then I finished the other one. I put the blue in there. And I used some of the ladybugs. That was perfect. That's that one. And then I painted this one. This is going to be one of the magnet ones. I just have that part to paint. And then this one, I painted the roofs purple, or not purple, blue. And then I have this one. I'm not totally finished with it yet. I want to put some bling around here. And then that'll be done. And then I thought I'd show you some of the cards I've been working on. Not today, but some of the cards. What I had done is I'd gone ahead, decorated the card like with the paper, and then I went through them all and I put the wording. And then last night, I don't know what time it was, something got into me and I decided to decorate it. And that's some of the paper I got from Jeff and Tammy. These don't have my sticker on the back yet, but I need to get more flowers now. I'm running out of flowers. And that has that. And there's this one. And this one. It's crazy late at night when you start thinking. And again, this is some of the paper that I got from Jeff and Tammy. And that's some of it there too. And I used the scissors on it. There's that one. And this one. Ah, cat fur. That's what you don't see late at night. See, that needs something up there. And then this one. Smile. That one, these ones I think I did another day. These aren't from last night. Never forget this moment. I'm liking using these people, but I would like it if they had another bag with even more different, or from a specific time, because of you. These look like 50s and some were probably the early 1900s. So it's just a few. I haven't done a lot. I am going to do more of these big bird houses, because looking at it I thought, there's that, and then you could almost use them as a set to put somewhere. And then even if you had this, like I was saying, for people to put wishes to a married couple, you could have little bird houses around it. Or you could even use these on the tables. That's if you're DIYing it. Oh my So that's basically really all I've done. It's been too hot. The rain yesterday did cool things down. I was happy with that. This late last night, we were actually getting a nice breeze coming in, and I tell you, I was jumping for joy. I'm just trying to see. Okay. Since I haven't read when I said I was going to read, because it was just too hot in here. And I got my little fan. Hey. Okay, that's better. I'll continue with the location, which is NDMC, National Defense Medical Center. And I had my last one, I think I was talking about the seeing the spirit walking down the hall. So now I'll continue. Cleaning the shower and change room brought about two incidents. The first being a flash of light above a metal support rail for computer cables that run throughout the entire building. Thinking it must be a reflection from the parking lot below, I tried to recreate it to no avail. Taking a closer look, I then realized there was nothing there that would cause such a bright flash in the spot I had seen it. This happened once more the following day, and again I tried to debunk it to no avail. I then had this happen to me on the ground floor. Trying to debunk it was rather easy due to the fact it happened on a wall with no metal rail and no windows near it. The second incident in the shower change room happened when I was cleaning the shower. I always made sure to place my "Do Not Enter" sign on the door. While inside the shower room, I heard the outer door open and a man's voice, but could not make out what was being said. I felt very uncomfortable and upset that he paid no attention to my sign on the door. I completed my work, then opened the door slowly, calling out "hello," but there was no answer back. Coming into the room, I cautiously looked, and no one was there. No one was in the hall, and I hadn't heard the door open for the person to leave. The dental office on the main floor caused a few occasions for my hubby to hear someone say hello to him. The first time he said it was a female voice. The second time it was a man. Both times he asked me if I had said anything or heard anything. Both times I hadn't. We had also seen a couple of shadow figures, though once again they showed themselves to hubby before me. We have both seen a shadow figure in the B hallway on the main floor. When I first noticed the shadow, it disappeared quickly into the stairwell at the end of the hall, but the door never opened. It makes a terrible sound when it does. Another time, I noticed it run from one side of the hallway to an open room at the top end of the hall. This is the same spot where hubby had seen it. On the other side of B hallway, there is a nook. Inside this nook, I have sensed a male spirit there hiding, but felt no threat from him. One morning, I turned near the end of the hallway to see a shadow figure with a top hat in a lunge position watching me. I stared at him for a few seconds, then looked away. When I turned back, he was gone. The shadow was dense black. By the north door is a hallway that few people use, as it was the emergency rooms. On one occasion, while using this hallway, I had felt a female nurse in the first room. One afternoon, walking by the room, I glanced in and seen the nurse in a white old-time uniform, including cap, holding a tray. One of the personnel that used the hallway to get to her office mentioned that she felt uncomfortable there, and I told her what I had been feeling. Then she said it made sense. There was an old dentist chair in the basement of the building where we worked. I didn't like it at all. My first encounter with it was when we were waxing the floor. I had gone into the lunchroom to begin sweeping before my husband came to wax. I had swept most of the floor before I felt a need to look up, and there it was. I had an unwelcoming feeling come over me, so I beat it out of that room and told him he would have to finish because I was not going back inside there. After that, I encountered it in the basement hallway. To avoid it, I would go the long way around the ground floor to get to where I needed to go. One day, I decided I must make peace with this chair, so I began saying the St. Michael's prayer every time I made myself pass it. It got to a point where the chair no longer bothered me. It is a very old dentist chair that should be in the Canadian War Museum. From time to time, the thought of my first encounter with that chair still gives me the creeps. It saddens me deeply to know that in a few years' time, this building will be torn down. The spirits will remain no matter what stands here. On the day we left the building, I offered all spirits with good intentions to follow us to our new place of work. I made it very clear that if they weren't of good intention, they had to stay behind. We have seen a couple of figures. One in the warehouse, a male with white t-shirt and blue jeans. My husband has seen a shadow figure outside one of the rooms while cleaning. Matter of fact, he thought it was someone waiting to come in until it disappeared. And then seeing overseas. Quite a few years ago now, I belonged to a couple of ghost sites on the internet. This is where I met a friend who resided in Nottingham, England. During his childhood, his family lived in a windmill. He had posted new and old pictures of it on the site. Staring at one of the black and white photos, I began to pick up on things. I told him what was happening, and this became our nightly habit. He would send photos, and I would inform him of what I felt coming from it. The first thing I told him regarding the windmill was that someone had committed suicide from the second floor. He informed me that this was correct, that during the 1970s, someone did commit suicide from that floor. He next sent me a photo of the windmill and the land surrounding it from the early 1900s. I told him there was a path that was used in front of the barn beside the windmill many years ago. I saw a woman in a long dress with an apron on. She was carrying pails of something, I think baking or eggs. She seemed very happy. This was also correct, and I informed him that the spirits were going about their business as if still alive. He was content with this information. On another evening, I described his home to him with only one flaw. I had the location of the rooms backwards. What I thought was on the left was on the right side. He showed me by way of cam as much as he could without unplugging his laptop. He was so fascinated now that one evening he sat on his hallway stairs while I watched and began picking up on vibes. I had mentioned previously to him that there was an older gentleman who paced the hallway in a suit with a hat. He was impatiently waiting for someone. He would look out the small windows in the door. There was a spirit on the outside who peered in through the windows on the first floor. I told him not to invite it in, even though it was meant to be inside, but I couldn't give him a reason as to why. Minutes after watching the screen, I picked up on a large dog sitting to his right, happily wagging his tail. He informed me that he had once owned a large dog, which passed away. Next, a man standing a few steps above him, watching what was going on. On the landing above the man swayed a woman in period clothing to music only she could hear. She was smiling, but had a sad feel about her. One evening, I asked if he ever spent time sitting in the graveyard. He was surprised and said, yes, that is where he enjoyed reading because of the silence. I explained that the spirits were missing him and that they enjoyed his company. He admitted that he had not been there in a while and promised he would visit soon. Each time we spoke afterwards, I would tell him they wanted him to visit. My friend sent a picture of the graveyard and church. I began to pick up on 2 graves that were attached somehow. There was a loving relationship between the 2. I typed out carefully the area the feelings were coming from. He went off on his bike the next day to take pictures of where I had directed him. He returned and uploaded the pictures for me to see, but before that he said there couldn't have been a loving relationship because of the dates on the headstones. He asked me what the woman's name was. I said Kathy is the name that was coming to me. I was correct. Kathleen was the name on the gravestone. At that point, he showed me the pictures of the graves. Ugh, sticking together. From the first time we spoke, I told him that he was an old soul. He was showing a photo of the main street in town, and I began seeing people in celebration. My friend was on a horse in a parade, waving at the masses lining the route. He was part of what they were celebrating, though I couldn't pick up what it was about. The next conversation we had, I informed him that the spirits were happy, and that he had brought a spirit home from the cemetery. He had finally spent time with them. She had shadowed him from inside the cemetery, skipping along, dragging a stick across the iron fence. I informed him she told me she didn't like the redhead, but did like the brunette. He laughed and explained that there were 2 women that he was seeing, and that was the color of their hair. He promised he would keep the little girl's comment in mind. On the other ghost site, a woman living in England posted a picture asking if we could see a figure in the mirror. I commented I couldn't. I further commented that my eyes were drawn to a chair in the corner of her living room. I felt it was her grandmother. I told her she sits there happy, watching the family coming and going while she knits. She couldn't believe it. I had picked up on it. She couldn't believe that I had picked up on it because a medium had told her the same thing. There are times during the year when I seem to be more in tune with the spirit world than the rest of the time. My wish is that I could feel and see spirit more than I do. Although on the other hand, I understand how distracting it can be. I always let spirit know where I accept them and where I don't. I give them borders and let them know who I will allow in our home. Each of the events above happened to me and my husband. Each event is 100% true. These are my spirit experiences to this point in my life, and I look forward to adding many more in my future. I don't feel alone when spirit is around. It is a comfortable feeling that I enjoy. And the next part will be a bit of history. And then my Ouija board experience. That was not fun. Not fun at all. I have messed up my pages here. You're supposed to be back here. Back here. Yep, right there. So that's it. Almost to the end of it. Almost to the end of what's happened. Come on, get in there. Now at work I have been seeing glimpses or catching shadow figures out the corner of my eye. But I haven't said anything. No biggie, I guess. I just get used to it. So thank you, my YouTube family, for dropping by to see what crafts I've been up to and to hear more of my true paranormal experiences. Greatly appreciate it whenever you drop by. You mean a lot to me. It is great having an extended family all over the place, getting to know your sections of the globe, your little piece of home. I really enjoy that. I wish I could show you guys more of here, but right now it's just, you know, I can't take you where I'd like to take you. We'll leave it at that. Anybody new coming by to see what's what, please check out my other videos. You may find something that interests you. If you do, think of giving it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. I love reading comments. Share any of my videos out that you think someone might be interested or is interested. And consider subscribing. And if you're going to subscribe, remember to click that notification bell so that you know the next time I upload. So have a great rest of your Sunday. We're back to the grind tomorrow. Hopefully it stays cool. We're, I think, 40% possible for rain. I would love to have more rain. I'd love to have more of that beautiful cool air. It was nice not moving away from this fan and sweating your butt off, that's for sure. So, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm going to get some more of these big ones, big birdhouses. I'm going to do one in purple to match this one, and then one in the blue to match that one. And I think I'll get the same one like this. And I gotta remember where I got the fancy leaves. Oh, I'll find them. I think our dollar store, our Dollarama had them. Anyways, everyone, have a great rest of the evening. Hope you have a great start to your week tomorrow. And until the next time, as always, ciao for now.